that you want to kind of look over again in the forum, but probably we'll spend more time looking at replays unless there's something else specifically you want to look at. So we don't have to like rehash over the same stuff. So goals here is, have you hit Grandmaster yet?
Yes,
Nice.
but rank inflation this season.
Sure.
It was yeah,
Sure.
I did.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Do you feel like you've been improving in the last few months of practice?
Yeah.
Okay. What have you specifically improved on?
So last session, I spent a while on like my Baptiste shifts, and making sure that that's getting value out of them. So hopefully you don't have to yell at me for that today.
Well, did it improve though? Because even if you have a bad day today, like let's just say it was a bad game, right? But overall, you know how it's been since then. You tell me.
Yeah, I worked on it for like quite a while, and I definitely was better then. But that was like a month ago. So
Sure.
lately I've been noticing some not so great shifts.
Why is
But
that? Is you just not been playing much Baptiste recently?
I don't know, just like regression, I guess. I
Sure.
don't know.
That happens. It's what is it? You go up 2 steps and back one. Go up 2 steps and back one. As long as we're going up, though, right? I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
What else has improved? Maybe even stuff that we haven't talked about necessarily, but you feel like as a whole you've improved at.
Um, I've been working a lot lately on like helping my DPS more than just like heal botting tank, especially on Kiriko. I feel like I've got a lot better awareness
Good.
of like off angles, helping my DPS,
Good.
kind of understanding when that's important.
Okay. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Anything else?
Uh, Also we talked a lot about, or I've been working on like my back windows, trying to control space with them more so
Yep.
than just like get kills.
Right. Right.
And then just some other minor things like
Okay.
just like corner positioning.
Yeah. Yeah.
I noticed like this might sound dumb with my reloads on BAP. I sometimes have really bad reloads, so I've been working on that too.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. So you do feel like those things have gotten better. Is there anything that you feel like has gotten worse that you've been struggling with in the last month or so? You said your shifts might have slipped a little bit, but is there anything off the top of your head?
I can't say anything like specifically that I've noticed that's been really bad.
Okay.
So.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So it does sound like maybe at least from an outside perspective, you have improved a little bit since our last, and that's good. It's been not even been 2 months, and that's but a drop in the water, even just in your Overwatch career, right? So that's good to hear. Okay. Bap Kiri on a Zen. I assume it's a little bit broader in terms of hero pool because of your collegiate performance stuff. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Does your team specialize in any of those compositions, or is it just really truly like 25, 25%?
Yeah, we've been struggling to, I feel like, settle on a composition.
Sure.
So like I'm probably like a third. I would say like I haven't played as much Kiriko this meta. I feel like it just hasn't. It's not as great. So I've been like probably like 40% BAP, like 30% Ana, and like 20 Kiriko, 10 Zen.
Okay. Fair enough. As long as like your rank play is mirroring in some way, shape, and form your team play, I think it's probably fine. I think it's like I think there's a good argument for maybe putting more time in ranked on something that you're bad at. Like let's say even if it's the 10% Zen in collegiate, if it's like you really feel like your BAP is fine, you just need to really get that Zen up to par. Maybe we push it a little bit more in ranked, but okay. How often did you guys scrimmage?
We shoot for twice a week.
Okay.
And then a match once a week.
Okay, sounds good. And you're able to adjust your rank schedule around that?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much just I just try and play 3 hours of Overwatch every day. So if I scrim, I do 2 hours of a scrim and then an hour of ranked. And on off days, I play 3 hours of ranked.
Works good. Sounds good. And that's quality time focused with goals, warm up, all that stuff, right?
Yeah. I feel like I've been slipping on the focus lately, but I just need to
Why do you
work
think
on
that
I
is?
guess.
Lack of motivation, distraction, other stuff on your mind, not enough sleep.
Just life things, and also this might sound kind of dumb, but I feel like almost like I struggle like say I'm supposed to be working on like my corner positioning or something, and like I get into a scrim. I feel like I'm often focused on other things, like just like team play.
That doesn't sound dumb. That's extremely normal.
Okay, so like I feel like
Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
It's it's almost like limiting. I feel like it's like putting I'm almost limiting my ability to improve myself, like for rank play. Like as I work with my team, it
Yeah.
almost feels like I'm kind of like those are two separate things I'm improving at.
Well, I mean, we've talked about tunnel vision before, right? Where it's whenever you're improving at something, it's really hard to do two things at once. That at best, it could be something like you're working on your fight planning between fights, and then in fights you're focusing on X, right? But that's best case scenario. Usually, trying to multitask with that is hard. So when you're in scrims, focusing on the plan, the call, helping this person, listening to this call, communicating your own things, and that's just scratching the surface of team play. Then it's natural that some of the other things is going to get a little bit put aside, right? So then what's your solution for that? There isn't necessarily a solution, but what do you think? What do you think is the plan then? Because you want to get better individually still, right?
I guess just my rank time is my individual improvement time.
Sure.
My scrim time is my team.
Sure,
team
that's fine.
Time.
That's and a lot of times that's why not only are they tired from scrims, but when OWL players get into rank, that's just doing what they want to do. They've been thinking team. Now it's practicing mechanics, right, or practicing positioning or things like that. Now there could be scrims where you could focus on yourself. Can you think of a circumstance in which that might be all right?
I don't know, like if the team we're streaming is just really bad,
Sure.
or like
yeah, that's one right there, and and it happens, right? Like let's be honest, it does happen occasionally, probably more often than you thought or you'd like, and so then absolutely, that's an opportunity to really develop your individual skill, and even situations where, like, let's say you're playing a composition that you're very familiar with, right? Like let's say we've been playing this comp a million times, so you could do a lot of it in your sleep. Well, then now you have more of your mental mana freed up to spend elsewhere, right? Because that's the goal, is like at least with some aspects of team play is to get those on autopilot so that we don't have to think about it as much. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not optimal, but don't feel like a freak. That's extremely normal. Okay, anything else? In terms of your focus, I guess going back to your focus with ranked and stuff, you've had some life stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like sometimes struggle. I tried using like I don't know, like a timer, like it'd go off, like try and remind me.
Did it drive you nuts?
A little bit, yeah.
Did it help, or was it more of a short-term fix?
It did help.
I found it more short-term for me. It worked for about a week, and then I started just like it stopped working for me. I don't know if that was your case.
Yeah, I think I just kind of got tired of it.
Yeah. It's not.
I don't know if that's.
It's like a crutch, It'll help, but then at some points, like you just got to be able to develop a skill, or like look at your life and be like, why am I not focused? Why am I not caring as much as I should about this? And trying to address that issue, or reevaluate, your whole circumstance as a whole.
Yeah, gotcha. I don't know if that's sort of like a skill in and of itself, learning to focus.
It is.
I kind of have to learn.
It is. I mean, especially in today's world right now, where it's like it's so easy to be distracted. Like it's never been easier to be distracted, right? There's literally always something fun or dopamine inducing that you can be doing besides what you're doing. So I think that in of itself is a skill. And also the skill is also looking at yourself objectively and being like, why am I having a hard time focusing? Is it because I'm a bad boy? I'm stupid. I need to be focusing here. I'm fighting the urge to tab over to YouTube and it's like, that's stupid. That's lazy. You got to break that habit. But then also you have to look at yourself and be like, is it really just because I'm being a lazy, scum wipe? Or is there something legitimately that I'm thinking about or focusing on? Like, let's say it's an exams week, or you're worried about your family, or something. Like, I don't know. There's a trillion things I could be thinking about. Like those situations, you want to cut yourself a little bit more slack. Or for, like, say you've been playing like ranked for like 5 hours, that's kind of unreasonable to stay focused at that point in time. But you got to look at each situation objectively and try and determine the cause. And if it's I'm very bad at focusing, then yes, that's it. But it might also be that you're spending your 3 hours of Overwatch, but you had a particularly hard day in classes, right? Particularly hard day in classes, you didn't sleep well the night before, then you're not going to get 3 hours of good focus. You know what I'm saying? So what you do then is you go, okay, let's do 4 games, 3 games, 4 games. And then if I play anymore after that, I'll just chill, right? Or maybe you do your scrim that day, and then the rank time after that, you're just relaxed because you had every little bit of gasoline you had left was spent up. So just try and develop not only the skill of focusing better, but being able to read your energy levels and determine whether like what's a reasonable amount of effort and be wise with it. You want to get in the habit of when you try, you're really trying, right?
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay. Training time is fine. Hero pool is fine. You have your scrims. There's not a lot. We've already been over this before. Sleep is fine. You want to look at mistakes that you can work on. What do you feel is holding back from improving? Not entirely sure. Some combination of understanding and mechanics, I guess. Do you want to elaborate on that question again?
I don't know if there's a lot to elaborate. Just not entirely sure, I guess. Just needed some more things to work on.
Sure. Sounds good. Any particular with understanding, I guess, because mechanics is, playtime efficiency, hero pool. Nothing you can do about that. It's not play better and have a better warm-up routine and so on. But understanding, what specifically are you looking for understanding, or are you really not sure?
I'm really not entirely sure.
Okay.
I know, of like my Ana, there's probably gonna be a lot of like.
Okay. Is that what we're looking at?
Things. Yeah, we'll definitely look at some.
Okay, I'm looking forward to shoot me the code then.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's a good code because, I don't know, scrims haven't been great lately.
Yep.
This one scrim that we did have that I have codes from is, we were scrimming a really bad team, to be honest. We were just better than them.
Okay. Yeah, that would be tough. Something competitive, at least even mildly so, would be appreciable.
Let's see. Okay, I mislabeled. Why did I say that's not Shambhala? That's Antarctic. So
that's okay.
I think that code's a decent one to start with. That's like the one map we lost during this scrim.
All right, so this one here though, the one you just sent.
Yeah.
Shambhala, but not Shambhala.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Give me a second. I've got my stupid mouse. Is the annoying habit of double clicking. I have the same mouse. Previous time I got this mouse, it started double clicking randomly, so I got rid of it. And I'm stupid because I got the same mouse again. And now you're, not even a year, like 5-6 months later, and it's back again. So okay, let's GM, and then you're on Ana here for the entire.
Map? I'm on BAP for the next 2 rounds.
BAP. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at here. Get this going. And I'll send you the unlisted recording of this actually it will not be unlisted because technically it's stream review, but I'll send you the recording nonetheless when it's done with this. Okay. Okay. So a little bit of Ana. What is Ana good at? What should be your priorities with Ana when you're playing Ana? Like, let's say you could think about 3 things at once. What would you be thinking about?
Nade value.
I like the priority there. Needs. What else?
With this comp, healing my monkey probably.
What else?
And I guess sleeping like their tracer. She's trying to flank me because that's probably my main sleep target, and just being aware of her. Sure.
Being aware of tracer, killing tank, nade value. And I would probably throw in just good cover, corner positioning, and so on, right? And those things are priorities. There's like a way of looking at it where like offensive nade, defensive sleeps is like a good autopilot. And I think I agree with that for the most part, but obviously it depends on the circumstance. Like, for example, if they weren't on tracer here, who would be your primary sleep target?
Just like Ryan, maybe, or like their Sojourner. She's like really thinking.
Sure. A lot of it depends on like the level of aggression of who's aggressing. Even if it's not necessarily on you, because it just makes it so much easier to sleep them. So, pretty simple hero. Just very difficult to like get the few things that you have to think about right all the time. So let's take a look.
Also unfamiliar map.
It's unfamiliar map for everybody, myself included. I'm planning on doing a map guide in this one in like a couple of weeks, but it's something else. So I think where you're at right now is fine. Like you need to have vision of what's going on. Now, their Ryan is making the grade A mistake that every Reinhardt makes versus dive. Do you see it? I don't know if you can see it.
running after a Tracer and Monkey.
Right, right. It's essentially when you don't see the big, or I guess in your case, the big blue shield in front of your screen, that's screaming nade. The number one thing that he can do is just the shield off follow up, right? So as soon as you see this, instantly nade. Instantly
Gotcha.
nade. That's just a good habit for you guys. Do you guys run Ana usually with the Monkey, I assume?
Yeah, I switch between Ana and Kiriko, kind of depending on if it's like a longer or
Sure.
shorter range map.
Sure, sure, makes
Or
sense.
if we're doing like hard dive versus
Makes sense.
like
Makes sense.
yeah.
I'm thinking positioning here is probably fine. I will say this is that you can play more aggressively versus this comp when they don't have ults. Like Shatter, Kiriko ult beat can be problematic, but as long as you have your sleep dart, it's actually kind of hard for that Ryan to just run on you. So where you're at is fine, but there's also times where you can take like the angle like where your soldier is right here, and then if you guys are going hyper aggressive, you can literally run into their backline like to here. As long as you have your sleep dart, and I speak from experience here because I've played the Ryan version of this comp and with Al, right? If you are able to outplay the Ryan with your sleep dart, there's actually almost no limit with how close you can play when they don't have ultimates, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so nade here, it's just a little late. Like this is why when you said, you know, priorities, like you said, nade first, I was so happy because it really is more important than everything else. Even like if you just hit like cover there was not good, right? So that was not great. Part of that's a little bit of map unfamiliarity. Now we know you drop, you immediately take this corner here. Good to know for the future. That being said, this nade needs to go now, like now. As soon as I see that Ryan shield go, it has to happen because otherwise you're going to miss the opportunity because the Ryan's going to go back to shielding or your diver's going to be out, in which case the nade's not going to get value either. That was pretty amusing. Most accurate on a shot ever. Perfect. I mean, honestly, especially with the Brig here, I don't even know if I'd be worrying too much about sleeping Tracer. She's just not a threat at all. Like, just really not a threat to you at all unless she has pulse. Like, I would just be totally focused on trying to play as aggressively as with my nade as possible and save my sleep dart to prevent Ryan from W keying. Because if that Ryan can't W key on your backline at any point in time, then they're going to have a really, really hard time beating you guys.
Gotcha.
Like, even right now, it's like, this sounds like trolling, but you could probably guess where I'm going to tell you to go right now.
Up the stairs?
I'm literally telling you, yeah, exactly. Literally go up the stairs and flank nade. And as long as you have your sleep dart, you should be good to go. And you have cover, you should be good to go. And you could even like talk with your Brig, be like, hey, I'm going up here. And then she could just pack you while she's pressuring point. Like, I'm telling you, like, you don't underestimate, like, Ana wins these fights. Ana and Winston wins you these fights. Primal Rage and nade, it's just GG's. That and Pulse.
Gotcha.
And so now you need to be careful. But like even here, nade, then W key. But I wouldn't W key like this. Where should you go right now?
Stairs, I guess.
Right. Now you have to be careful as Sojourn, so maybe you actually can't push stairs now. But if that was open to you, I would want you to take that angle as fast as you could, because you can now then take that opportunity for more damage, more healing. Like we want to prevent, we want to remove Ryan shield from the equation as much as we possibly can.
So just like so like to remove Ryan shield, I can take sort of aggressive angles.
Right. Exactly.
Because,
Exactly. And that's why Ryan's strong in Coliseum, right? Because it's so hard to do that sometimes, especially in that first fight. And this is where, like, this is a team, this is a scrim, right?
Yeah.
So where should you and your Brig be going? Because this is something that's hard if you're in ranked, but in scrim, this should just be happening.
Just control high ground.
Right.
Just clear out the Sojourn.
Right. Micro your Brig and be like, hey, I want to go top, and then just run this guy down. He's gone, and now you take this angle. Your next nade will be lethal. Fight's over.
Gotcha. Yep.
I really, truly think that unless the Rhine is like, also a little bit of awareness in the flanks as well. I mean, honestly, I don't even know if this is that big of a mistake. I just don't hear anything. Because, you know, actually, yeah, this. I'm not going to blame you too much for this. You want to be aware of your flanks, but also, like, she doesn't say anything. She's completely out of your LOS. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think she yelled at me, like, right as she died.
Yeah, it's too late, yeah. And see, once you land that shot, too, it's like, you're golden, you know? Like, you're good. Now you can literally just completely ignore her. That's fight losing, right there. Right there. You see the sleep?
Yeah.
It's like, the thing is like, as you could probably guess now, there's just no rush whatsoever. Even if he gets a swing on you, it doesn't matter. Like, it's actually, it's a lot harder for him to outplay you than it is vice versa, because by the time he gets on top of you, you just sleep him through shield anyway, you know what I'm saying?
So micro there is just don't even try and sleep the pin. Wait for him to be on top of me and then sleep.
The only time you sleep the pin is if you fool him to thinking that you don't see it. So like you're looking here and then you just flick sleep, right? That's the thin special back in Shock, you know. But yeah. So we're talking a little bit about micro versus the Rhine, but I think just in general, the aggressively looking for nade opportunities, taking positions or aggressive positions around your tank's timing. And then obviously just shocking cover usage is like ubiquitous, right? It doesn't matter really what you play versus. I actually don't even like the Zen swap here too. I think this is a mistake, especially on this map. You know what? This will be good education for you. Okay, all right. We want to talk about understanding. Why is Zen a mistake, in my opinion? What are we playing for? What should have won us the last fight? On your end,
landing a big nade.
You being able to play hyper aggressive and landing a big nade, and not having to worry about what tracer, and just taking any position that you wanted because your brig's with you, just flailing ahead of you, clearing the sojourn, and just winning that. You didn't need to do anything cute, just land the big nade. Now, what are you losing with the Zen?
Instead of having a brig to protect me, I kind of almost have to protect my Zen.
Correct. Now you'll win the tracer duel pretty easily because you have but that wasn't. We wanted to play more around nade than we wanted to play around the tracer duel, and that's the problem. Is you're gonna have to spend more time babysitting him, and he won't be able to take you on aggressive angles. I think also you have to consider the map as well. I don't think this map has wide open enough sightlines to make the Zen really, really good. I think Lucio's just good. You know what I'm saying? Brig's just good. It's very tight sightlines, so it's going to be easy for them to run on him. That being said, strengths.
Yeah,
So, you know, who am I?
Yeah,
you know,
he's not even really... Yeah. He's not even really a Zen player, he's actually a main support.
Fair enough.
But this team is just not that great.
See, like even here, you know he doesn't have Shatter, correct?
Yes.
You should know that they don't have Beat as well. Where should you be rotating to?
High ground.
High ground. It's up, you're even, right? So split the Rhine. Make the Rhine come after you. Doesn't matter what he does. You have Sleep Dart. You have Harmony Orb. He can't win. If he goes on your Zen, he gets shot and slept in the back. And worst case scenario, you can nano your Zen or your soldier, you win the fight. Right?
Okay.
Just to think more dynamically in this regard. Obviously a little bit of a disaster there with an aid, but okay.
Yeah.
You can, so you either want to nano as a response to somebody being aggressed on or somebody going aggressive, right? With your comp, Nano Visor is a fight win, Nano Winston is a fight win, Nano Tracer is a fight win. If they push and dive on your Nano Zen, it's a fight win, so. But like even here, just walk, you know what I'm saying? Like walk, take the aggressive position, take this angle out, set up a nade, or just clear out the Sojourn. There's just this Rhine, make this Rhine feel useless, you know? Because he just can't move. Even with the new pin changes, he's not able to control this high ground as easily. Nice. Here's it. A man is N. Alright. Because this is why dive is so strong, is once you control these positions and you get an ult cycle going, you just win. There's nothing they can do. Their ults are so much worse than yours. There's Primal. You know he doesn't have Shatter yet, right? We must know this, right? So then what should we do?
Play aggressive, look for nade.
Play aggressive, look for nade. No, what are you sure?
Well, they do have beat.
Right. So what do you think?
I can still play aggressive, I just have to make sure that I can sleep the Rhine.
Mm-hmm. Or play aggressive in a way that doesn't involve proximity, right? So for you, again, a little bit of map knowledge here is definitely what's hindering you. But like right now, you know you want a primal here. Okay. You can't run it down here necessarily when they have beat, even if you do sleep the Rhine. So what's stopping you from hiding here, pre-fight, or here and listening and being like, okay, going right, okay, I rotate here, and you go around and you Ajax the Lucio. You see the distance that you're at? What happens if they beat here?
I'm fine.
You're fine, right? You have a lot of space to control, right? But it's the aggression in terms of that proactivity, right? You got to think about it. Like, really, truly, what does your team need healing for, right? You have a Zenyatta, you have a Tracer marking their Tracer, you have a Winston with Primal, and a Soldier with Heal Station. You're fine. You can be taking these angles like this. I'm telling you, this is what Overwatch League. This is what an Overwatch League Ana would do. And if you want to be an Overwatch League Ana, well, you don't necessarily. But if you want to be a better Ana, you need to do what an Overwatch League Ana would do until you can actually do what they can do. And like, this is just too easy, you know? The Sojourn just walks forward and you guys are just standing there like chickens in a coop. And the problem here is that, like, while your Winston's clearing space, right? Look at this. 1, 2, 3 people on him. What are you guys doing? Jack, you know?
Yeah.
Like, doing absolutely nothing. So, okay. I mean, there's obviously some mechanical issues here as well, you know, sleeps, nades, shots, and things like that. But I don't let that be, like, preventing you from doing what you need to do. I assume the call is probably Nano Visor here.
I think it's Nano Monkey, actually.
Oh, really? Okay. Nice. 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 That's fine. I mean, you see how that, like, even though it goes disastrously, because they get a big shatter, it doesn't matter. Like, you're just completely on the backline, Nano Monkey on the backline, it's just over. And now, you already know what I'm going to say now. Look at their ults, right? Maybe you guys track Kiriko, but still, where are they rotating? Where can I set up an angle? Do I want to get close? Can I not get close? I mean, this is the thing, though. It's like, if you're going to play on a Zen, you would at least want you guys to be split somewhat, right? Where you guys can, maybe your Zen and your Soldier are controlling space over here with Heal Station, trying to proactively mark her, or you Tracer mark or something like that. But you're just so predictable.
Right, even if our monkey dives, we're just gonna follow up.
This is fine.
Well,
this is not fine, right? This is not fine. But you see, like, it's actually really hard for him to deal with that, you know? Even though you completely screwed it up, they can't just run you over. Alright. Also, look at the cap percentage of the fight. Right? Now, they still have Kiriko ult, but they're going to have to think about touch, right? So what do you think you can do in terms of your positioning? You want to do things.
Try and catch them in the rotation to point, or set up for a big nade on point.
Yep. You can either just hard focus point with your shots and just be like, I'm just going to kill whoever touches, or you can either do something super high risk, high reward, because they're not likely going to be checking corners and cover, right? They're running as fast as they can, and so they don't do their due diligence. I think one of the most broken things you could do in an overtime scenario is like a Tracer, is spawn camp somebody on the enemy team. Because they're just running back as fast as they can, and they will get no help. It's like it's just such a cheese way to win a 5v4, right? Same thing kind of go for you though. It's like you could punish their lack of discipline, right? Chill. You know, even here, do you see how like this actually doesn't feel as scary as you thought it would, right? Especially with an nade there, like you didn't even need an nade here, really truly. Oh shoot! Just run. You see this? Like, obviously they beefed it pretty bad, but even that, it's like, okay, like whatever. I'm just gonna sleep if you get too close, you know. I think the only thing here is like, this is why it's so bad as Ana to be super predictable with your positioning into Reinhardt, because if you allow them to, while they're literally in spawn, to be talking about a rotate to clear you because they know where you are already, you've screwed up, right? You need to make it yourself a little bit more unpredictable and a little bit more proactive to make it not only set up your own plays more, but also to make it actually ironically harder to kill you. So for Ana, what are you seeing? What needs to be practiced? Obviously, we talked a lot about the Rhine matchup, but what are some generalities that you see?
Setting myself up for nade value. Understanding that, like, if I have a Brig, especially, I can play pretty aggressively, depending on their comp.
Sure. What else? Think more mechanical. Because it's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard for us to think just Ryan matchup, Ryan matchup, Ryan matchup. I'm sure you learned some stuff here, but like let's go more broad. What are some skills you need to practice? Setting up for nade value is big.
Yeah, just like sleep value, like or landing my sleep on the Ryan. I guess it's sort of micro, but
Sure. Well, why were you missing it?
I think I wasn't patient enough.
Right. Patience with sleep when not necessary to rush. He's not an Nanoblade, right? It's not like you have to land it or you're dead. You know, it's a situation of like, you know, you're good. Take a second, you know, and that's especially important. I think when you're somebody who's not very skilled at a hero, you want to give yourself the time to properly aim it so that you can actually. And the same thing honestly happens with nades as well. Actually, I'm gonna actually adjust this. Think about how many nades we missed. Like, remember the Lucio stuff? You missed like every nade on the Lucio who was diving you. Just chill. I think when you're not very good at a character, you should be taking a little bit more time to land your shots. But when you are very good at a character, you should not be taking time. You should just be doing it quickly because you don't want to overthink something that you already know how to do. You kind of need to overthink it a little bit, right? You're not very good at Ana, so take that extra little bit of time. Okay. What else are you seeing? Those are the big ones for me. If we're going to be positioning more aggressively for nade value, what do we have to keep in mind?
Consider corners, I guess.
Yeah, corners and even enemy ults.
Yeah.
Because that means a lot when it comes to which position is aggressive and which position is a feed. Okay. Any questions with all that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Let's move on to Baptiste.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So we said shifts may have fallen out of favor here. We don't have to elaborate on what we need to be doing with our shifts. You probably have a pretty good idea. So let's just see if they look good, if they don't. There we go. What a strange composition. Is this just basically damage boost cast and then you try not lose trade on the front too bad?
I don't know why we're on Mercy. I thought I was thinking maybe we were going to start Bastion and went to Mercy Pocket our Bastion. And then I guess we're not on Bastion.
Okay, fair enough.
To be honest, I'm pretty sure we swap off after this
Okay,
fight.
okay, fair enough. Not the best shift, I think.
Yeah.
Not the best reaction to wall as well. So like, I'll talk about the things that we should be doing better here, okay? Just quickly. A little late on the missing or healing. Shifts a little early. Surprise on the Mei wall. Like, Mei wall has to be something that you're like charging up your boots immediately because you know it's happening and you need to quickly be able to launch up and over or off to the side so you're able to get the cooldowns out, right? Because remember, as soon as that shift fails, or as soon as that wall fails because you used your cooldowns, then you guys have a massive advantage in the trade. But we missed that opportunity, so your Ryan dies. And then, yeah. I will say it's also really stupid that you guys are playing Mei Cassidy and are fighting in a small room versus a Lucio Mei. There's no way that you guys win this trade. It would have to be around point, somewhere more open space where you guys could actually play around Mei better. So, okay.
Yeah, I guess we don't swap off Mercy.
No. You guys could win, you know? Fine.
Yeah, that was really smart.
I think this is just a little bit of map knowledge here, right? So we're looking back at it now. I mean, I kind of already cheated with my camera, but where would you want to go?
Just the corner on the left.
Yeah, just swing here. And then easy LOS. Keep your distance. This is just too close.
Yeah.
Okay. There is the Bastion. Surely this will work. Bastion's an interesting quote-unquote counter to Mei. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but it definitely provides a solution to wall.
Yeah. We've had pretty decent success with it.
Yeah. It's the second wall that you have to worry about. Because they get that wall back faster than you get your, I wouldn't say, what is it? What is the form called? Turret form? I don't know what it's called. Nothing really fancy here. Just standard Baptiste gameplay, right? Good healing, good damage. Shift was fine, looked like. Oh! Unlucky. Okay, let's see. Now, you're fortunate, as I say this, you use it. But I was going to say, you're very fortunate in the fact that you actually have a composition where BAP window is really, really good. Now, this BAP window right here has to one-shot somebody with this Fire Strike. If you don't one-shot somebody with this Fire Strike, there's a very high chance that you lose this fight. Why? We're talking a little bit of macro game here. Look at their ultimates.
Yeah, I gotcha. They can just beat through it, speed on us.
Beat through it, or Blizzard through it, or, you know, not really more than that, but they could wall through it even, right? And the problem with that is your proximity here, right? You see how close you are?
Yeah,
so,
I forced myself to play really close.
So you can win this ult trade. You could do one of two things. You either go for, this is the cheese, or you play around point and window on point. They use beat, they use Blizzard, but you guys are in good positions to play around it. It's the same thing here. Like if you were to fight in here and try and go for a one-shot window, it's great if you hit it. If it's not, it's terrible. So just keep that in mind. You miss it, they really should just run you guys over now. I'm surprised they didn't even just beat you over. But like even right now, like you see, like okay, they didn't do it. It didn't do anything. Unfortunate. Go next. But you guys have not adjusted your positioning at all. At the very least, you need to keep in mind their ults and play just a little further back, even if it's like here or here where you can still technically play around wall, but there's some distance. The worst thing in the world is for you to be accessible with beat and for you to get frozen with Blizzard and so on. You can keep your Rhine up, but you can't keep both of you guys up.
Gotcha.
Case in point. Right, I was about to get really irritated because I think the enemy team is just not playing it well at all. They're just shooting Ryan 24/7, not even trying to go for you or your Bastion. But then I guess eventually, you know, a broken clock is right twice a day. So they eventually got to you, and you're just too close. So for you, I think this is kind of ties back with the Ana thing. There's a lot of value out of doing some very basic ult tracking with support play. Especially now that you're on a collegiate team, and you don't have to read things like high noon, BAP window. What are the ones that are important for you? Well, the ones where if I play stack with my Rhine, I'm going to get killed and run over, right? That's going to be beat. It's going to be Blizzard, maybe Shatter, right? We saw the previous round. The only ults that really mattered to you were like beat, Shatter, pretty much. Sojourn, like there's always ults are ults, right? They're always worth tracking, but especially if we're talking about like low hanging fruit, first step ult tracking. It has to start like with that, and I think especially when you're doing well. Did you call this window? I assume it was your Ryan or somebody else.
I think I did because I didn't want to give. I thought we could control this like higher elevated area. I guess.
Gotcha. But you
I didn't want to give that up.
Right. But you could see that's not necessarily a power position for you guys. Your power position with your comp is the open space. Why?
Yeah, when you play more range because I have Lucio.
Right. And you have Mercy, right? And it's also even just like, I mean, I guess the Tracer as well. Like, for example, if you take the fight up here, you limit where your Tracer can flank from. She can only take this flank here, right? Whereas if you play on point, the entire map is available for her. So yeah, exactly. Whenever your comp has more mobility or more range, play more open space. So for you, I think this fight plan was bad, but was also bad because of the ultimates that they had, and this is what cost too. But the good news is that they mess up their high noon. He double taps it on accident, so he cancels it, then they beat, then they Blizzard. So even though you guys use a lot of ults too, if you're gonna lose, at least they had to use a lot of ults as well. This is good. This is a skill that we haven't really talked about before, so I'm glad.
Yeah.
And especially in team play, it's one of the most important things you can do, because if you're ult tracking, the ult tracking is what gives you a good plan. Even here, like I just don't think this is intelligent. This is just the most valuable Maywall on the entire map is right here, right?
Yeah, sure.
Because if you go through here with your Rhine, you could just walk around here and support, right? But if you go through here, what are your options, right? There's nowhere. You can walk up on the wall, right? Which I hope we're about to do. We're a little slow, but this is just an unwinnable fight. And the reason why this is important is because this is what makes Scrim VOD so unique, is the fact that what are the micro things that you were mistaking that you need to practice that you saw from this VOD?
a little bit of quarter positioning,
Mm-hmm.
um, being very reactive, or I wouldn't even say reactive, being proactive about anticipating Maywall and getting
Right.
ready for it.
And that's pretty much it, right?
Mm.
You did a pretty good job with your healing, did an okay job with your shield damage, and your abilities were, for the most part, okay. So the vast majority of this one round was what, in terms of chokes?
Just like alt planning,
Right.
understanding the composition.
Mm-hmm. So when we talked about it earlier, like not being able to work on your own play at the same time, okay. This is a skill that will carry over in ranked as well when it comes to like the ult tracking. So for your BAP, a little bit of cover usage, playing around Maywall, but then just as a whole, especially when it's your responsibility with your BAP window. This fight, your team sucks, okay? Previous fight, you suck, right? So that's kind of what we want to take priority over is whenever the ones that you can control, which are the ults that you're planning, make sure that you're making the right call. By the way, when would you want to hold here? So we talked about, oh, you're an idiot, you shouldn't have done that. Oh, okay, really? Well, let's think about when would this be actually the play? Okay. When would this setup with BAP window be the play? Versus what? When?
I guess if we had like a really close range comp.
What about it with the comp that you're on right now? When would it be the play?
So you mean like as far as like the enemy team is on a different comp?
Sure.
Or just ult?
Sure.
Okay.
Put them on imaginary. Sorry, I should have clarified that. Put them on an imaginary composition.
So if they're on like Sigma Poke or something.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, exactly. Stuff them out, right? Don't give them the angles and space that they want for their Hanzo, Zen, Sigma, and so on, right? So this would be absolutely the right play. And not only that, but remember this, right? Well, eventually I'll make my point, right? Even this, right? Like right here.
Yeah.
You would want to roll out here if you saw Sigma. So this is why rollouts are important, is you want to kind of have a general good rollout, and then, okay, oh shoot, they're on Rhine mate, back up, guys, let's rotate over here. Or they're on Sigma, push, choke these guys out, right? That's why you want to get that read. It's a very, very, very important skill to read. And the nice thing about it is it takes skill to read, but it doesn't take that much skill, right? It didn't take you that long to come up with, Sigma, right? It's usually not too hard. If it's like, oh, they're on Cass, but we're on Hanzo, generally it just doesn't matter that much. You can do whatever you want. Or they're in Junk, we're on Torb, it doesn't matter that much, right? But when you have these big, big, big differences, that's what you have to worry about. Okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. And again, that is a skill that is more useful in team play, but is still useful in rank. Here comes the Brawl Mirror. We both roll out top. This makes perfect sense. And they're cooked. Nicely done. Just a little bit of the same thing here as well. You're thinking Maywall, right?
Yeah, gotcha.
You need to find the balance between charging your shift in anticipation and not slowing your movement down so that you're an easy target for fire strikes and icicles and stuff like that. This is the mirror that we all want to see. Ah, unfortunate. That kind of stuff kills, you know what I'm saying? Like, we just need a little bit more practice with it. Just expect it. You know it's gonna come. You know it's gonna come, right? And so if you're just a little bit faster with this, you guys really just don't have a chance to win this fight. But you definitely get a couple of trades, which makes this retake so much easier. You probably stall a lot longer as well. Nice. This is actually really unfortunate. I'm sure you saw this, but oh no, the shatter cancel. That would have been so fat as well. Okay. Just a little too much, you know? You can go as far as to predict when and where. If it's here, you're not as concerned. But as soon as he crosses this line, we need to be charging up, you know? Because you know it's coming. Either charging up or W key as quickly as you can so that we can charge up and get right on top of it, right?
Gotcha.
It seems like every time it's just a little bit of a surprise. Like, oh no, I'm trying to heal through the wall. Oh, no. Right, it has to be like immediate. Sure. Ah! Two shattered cancels. Get ruled. You can see how like flexible Bap Widow is in these trades. You need to be careful of like Beat and Blizzard, but you know it's just a very valuable ult in line trades.
Yeah.
It's probably there's a good argument for it being like the #1 reason why Bap is good, more so than even like Lamp or Shift, I think. Oh. That's unfortunate. That's a great play by their Cassidy. I mean, obviously track the Cassidy's positioning, but it's all right. It's not the worst thing in the world. I want to see if we were in position to. Yeah, we were in position to Lamp. Yeah, I just want to. I was more concerned about our Ryan, you know.
Yeah, I think I just didn't hear the high note.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. Oh, I did notice this a couple days ago when I was playing some. I had a much harder time hearing ults. I don't know why.
Yeah, I kind of feel you on that. I don't know.
It was like a few days ago. I don't know what happened. I actually didn't hear a single May Blizzard the entire game. Our team or the enemy teams. So I don't know.
Oh.
I heard everything else just fine, but there's just a couple ults I couldn't hear.
Ooh. This is just... Yeah, we just got outplayed.
Yeah, get rolled. You guys will win it though, surely. Oh, you're May. Oh. You guys did cap though, so that's good. Okay. Ha! You know. Where's that May, right? She's gonna spawn, but you gotta be thinking. It's coming, surely. There it is. Like keeping distance with Blizzard, Lamp, Shift. Could have shifted that probably. Good. That was fine. I honestly think that was okay. Maybe hit a few more shots, maybe that would have won it, but I think this was very reasonable. Good use of cooldowns, pretty decent positioning, good shots, good target priority. Not a big deal. Tragic that you lost, but honestly was okay. So we have more time. Do you have another code you'd like to look at?
Yeah, let me think here. Let me get the code for this.
Sure. Okay. In the meantime, what are you seeing with Baptiste so far? Is this more Baptiste right here, or is this a different hero?
This is gonna be Kiriko, I think.
Okay, so let's wrap this up really quick. What are you seeing with Baptiste?
Proactivity around Maywall. Corner positioning, and then just like ult planning, I guess,
sure,
or compositional.
Sure. Ult planning, basic comp matchup, just like range stuff, you know. And then Joker arc cover positioning, because you know that's the best thing that any coach could ever tell you. It's true though, wasn't it Wizard Yong who said that one of his students spent a lot of time studying something, and they said something about how important covers were, and they like played near cover for like a week, and they climbed like 800, 900 SR or something like that. I don't know, but it obviously matters. Okay, let's.
I would just skip control center. Yeah.
Skip control center. Okay.
Yeah.
You said Kiriko, so. All right. Let's take a look. I don't remember what we talked about on Shambali with your Kiriko. Was it anticipating stuff with Suzu?
Taking a little bit. It was mostly taking angles.
Okay. Let's take a look.
But that's a little bit different in this composition.
Yep. Still viable, but less so. Huh. Coach your team. What's the mistake here?
Or cast W King to Reaper.
Yeah, they haven't used shift, like translocate, bubble, jump, amp, anything, and we're W King. So playing the range properly, where should your cast be?
Like lion statue, probably.
Right, lion statue. Even if the cast wants to take an aggressive angle, like the Ana angle we were talking about earlier, right? You'd still be at a distance, right? So that gives you time to peel. That being said, if you see this, You know?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. You're carrying this fight. Nice angle. Nice healing. Nice damage. Nice discipline with Suzu. Really well done. You carried that fight. You can see even there, like, where it's not like you're not hard flanking because you need to heal your monkey, but you took an angle to where you could heal monkey and get access to their backline, right? That was cute. That was good. As long as you're, as long as you're ready for Sombra hack, right, and don't get immediately one shot, it's probably worth. Because even if you have to use TP and Suzu because they hack and jump you, TP Suzu is a good trade for bubble, jump, and so on. It really is.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's gonna be about can you survive the hack, right? And that's going to depend on your cover usage and things like that. That's what we want to see, right? Look at. By the time they get on your casts, right? Watch their resources and their HP.
Right? Bubble, Reaper Chef.
They're just bleeding. That's what we want. And he could have played even smarter than he did as well.
Gotcha.
That was good. We're gonna get through so much gameplay. We're gonna go like 3 times speed, 4 times speed, the entire VOD. I did that one time with a review. We went really in depth in the discussion. We watched the entire VOD at 2 times speed.
Yeah, you get through it fast.
Yeah. There's just not a whole lot to say there. I think your priority in playing with your Cassidy is very important. That it opens up your Lucio, but your Lucio got caught in Winston bubble, so you couldn't Suzu. But then, you responded fine, so I think it was okay.
Gotcha.
Like, it's the same kind of thing. Like, you play with your Cassidy so that you can enable him to play aggressively, and then you can TP out if things get hot or if he dies, right? Theoretically, your Lucio shouldn't need as much help. The only problem here is what? It's kind of funny because this is very similar to Baptiste. Remember this with Baptiste? Heck, even remember this with Ana? What's the common error here?
Not thinking about their ult.
Right. Like, they have... Even if they have just beat Kiriko, this is a really rough fight for you guys, right? This is where Cassidy falls out of favor because he's going to win you a lot of neutrals, but then as soon as they get a bunch of ultimates to run them over, he doesn't have anything to respond to. So, what can you be thinking here then?
I can like start aggressive, but like I need to immediately peel for my cast.
Right, you need to immediately peel for your cast, and or also make sure that this Kiriko ult comes out like this. Right? That 1 second delay, too long. Instantly. Yeah.
Should I have been playing like further back there too, like to make sure, like?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think to give yourself more vision on your Cassidy, because look at what kills him, right? So he land like right here. You're casting, and then he's already taking Sombra damage and Monkey landing damage, and then the Suzu comes out, right? So could your cast have lived this? Absolutely not. Could he have gotten off 2 or 3 fan hammers? Maybe, right? Like that has to be the play, So to me, it's just like we don't want this to be a surprise. You know what they're gonna do, right? It's gonna be either Kiriko or Primal or something, right? So your cast is going to die this fight. It is unavoidable with the ultimates that they have, but you can make him cause as much hurt as possible. And that's also important for you as well when it comes to like your Suzu as well. Like, what am I saving my Suzu for? Like right now, you're dead, right? But did you know that they had Primal? Were you thinking about Primal? Because if you do, then you know that you are a dead man without your Suzu here. So this TP right here, this is just to buy you time. So what you should do here is you shouldn't even be taking shots at Winston here. This should be ducking behind cover and then getting ready to Suzu because you know he's going to pursue.
Gotcha. Right?
And then just slow, right? I think you can read your TP, but he's going to pursue you either way. You're going to use your Suzu. So I think a little bit of ult tracking on you would go a long way when it comes to just deciding what to do with your cooldowns. And your positioning, as you said as well. Now, track for me. What's your role here? What's your job?
So they have EMP, Reaper ult, so play split, so I'm not in range, hopefully, of EMP or Reaper ult, and then immediately TP Suzu.
Sure. Your cast might be dead, but maybe you can keep him up, right? So it's just basically you need to be more disciplined with cover here than before. That's pretty much it.
Gotcha.
And this, may or may not be necessary because what is he likely to do?
Primal.
Now, he chooses not to, but, you know, fair enough. We take that, though.
Yeah.
Now we could be a little bit more greedy with our Suzu. Not greedy with our Suzu, but we could, like, for example, right here, this is kind of, I'm trying to put this nicely, unforgivable, right? Because there is nothing on board here. The only thing that can go wrong is what happens right here, right? So this needs to be Suzu'd immediately. If this guy's Suzu'd, Barbie dies, its party dies, lives, and Liba probably kills him. These are some names for something. But he dies, but Winston dies, right? And then you just TP out, you take the 4v4 elsewhere in Primal, right? But this is just annoying, to say the least. And like even here, do you want to TP to Winston? Or was that just because he was critical?
Well, I thought their monkey and their Kiriko were or their monkey and the Reaper were probably gonna start shooting me. So I thought that was gonna be a safer place to be.
Why TP there and not TP here?
Yeah.
You kind of see what I'm saying? Now, maybe right, maybe that's an awareness issue where you didn't even know your Tracer Lucio over here, but this is why that ult thing matters, right? Because this is an objectively more dangerous position for you to be in than here. So this TP could be used to save your monkey, but then your monkey primals, and then you really should die here, or get your first. Some of these deaths have been felt so fast, I don't blame you for it. It's mostly the cast one I'm annoyed about. Like right now, don't greed the Suzu, right? I know you're not going to, but even that, just it was almost too late, right? You need to get there a little bit faster. Okay, pretty much just chilling. Okay, let's watch. We got a few more minutes. I'm gonna actually message the next person that we're running just a little bit late.
Okay.
1 second. Finishing. Awesome. Okay, let's keep going. Somebody was saying maybe it's my Dolby sound effects or sound settings in Overwatch that are causing that buzz, but it's really annoying. It's only in the replay viewer. And it happens so inconsistently as well. Okay.
The replay viewer is just always got to be bugged, right?
Yeah, it can never work. You know what? I'll take that over the one where you had to leave it open for like 10 minutes for it to pull up at all.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or just not having an OWL replay viewer at all. That was fun. Also, the sound got really distorted back in the day at one point in time for the OWL viewer. You know, a real team player would have TP'd to your ball and helped them out. You'd Suzu boop him back up on the rollout.
Yeah.
Suzu, what you do is you TP here and you Suzu off the wall, and you'd have friendly fire on, and so it'd boop him up and over, and then
and then we win the fight.
Yeah, exactly. I like the Reaper swap. Brig swap is interesting, but this can work. Yep, looks good. Boring, but good, right?
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. I don't know, because part of me is like, I wonder if your ball could just do what he's doing right now and take a flank, you know, and you could follow him around and just like dive their backline, you know, try and take different angles. But then I feel like your Brig just might die because you're not on Lucio.
I don't know. About the Brig here.
I don't know. Let's just focus on our play here. Let's not overread the comms.
Maybe I think he might have wanted Brig Ana, but I didn't feel like Ana would be too great on this point.
No, I agree. And also, whenever you're on ball, the Nano is just that much worse, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, stuff is just happening. We haven't really had a fight.
Yeah. This is some inspirational gameplay right here.
Surely we're gonna do it right this time. Because who's target priority number 1 on your team right now?
You mean who I'm gonna have to appeal for?
I mean, you know what's gonna happen this fight.
They're gonna Kitsune in
Right.
on our brig, most
Right,
likely.
right. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Kitsune or Primal, but you don't have to
Yeah,
guess which one they're going to do first. It doesn't matter. The end result's the same, essentially. So you need to be very quick on the draw, get ready to peel off. If you survive, you're going to win. If you don't, you're not. That's it. So we're going to open it. But I think you're doing it correctly now, but were you thinking they're going to press Q?
I'm gonna guess I probably wasn't thinking
Okay,
that.
so we should be, because I think how we're set up right now is okay. We are taking some space, but it does feel like we're kind of leaning back, expecting it, and sure enough, here it comes. Primal is actually the worst ultimate for them to open with. It's just a shame that your monkey wasn't on the same page. This is very fine. That's just your monkey and Tracer beating. Yeah, this is fine. So nice job, accidentally.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
I think you can be more like you can use it quicker if you like. So if you did Suzu here, it would be okay, right? Because they do only have the Kiriko, and your Winston doesn't have Primal, so you can use it here.
Yeah,
But then by the time you use it, it's like delayed reaction, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if that's really delayed.
The reason why it's so important is because obviously in the heat of the moment, it's like super fast. But you could be doing these calculations right now. You know what I'm saying? If fight's lost, you're thinking, okay, they have Kiriko, my Winston still doesn't have Primal. That's only Kiri, which we should be able to kite if we want to. So I can use Suzu like whenever I need to. You know, it's not the end of the world. And so then when this happens, your brain's already in the. You ever played baseball before?
When I was a kid, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. My dad used to always say when he was coaching me, he'd be like, you should know where you're throwing the ball before the ball's even hit. Same kind of thing here, right? You should already know what you're looking for with Suzu. Because the Suzu's fine, but it was so late that then it was like not so fine, you know? And then now you should have a general idea that they don't have anything, so you can just do whatever you want with it. Boop somebody off the map, you know. Suzu. Now we don't need Suzu. You were thinking about it, but then obviously you were like, oh, okay, we don't need it anymore. That's probably fine. Was it necessary? I don't know, but why not, you know? Fight's won.
Yeah.
Brig feels like if she doesn't get run over, she does a lot of value, you know, a lot of stuff, you know? So,
Sure.
We take it. Right? So now you know what you're Suzuing, right? Surely. Probably okay, because it felt like it was needed. And there you go. Wait, what? She just jumped. It happened a little too fast to be as, you know, like, oh, we've lost the fight. Let's just, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure enough. Pre-rally. I would definitely get the rally armor if you could, even if it means playing more aggressively. But maybe it wasn't worth it because of the, yeah. Yeah, okay. Honestly, not too bad. Okay, so what do you think needs to be worked on? We kind of zoomed through, but what do you think with your Kiriko?
Ult awareness again, fight planning.
Ult awareness, fight planning, and how it relates to positioning and Suzu. Anything else?
Just being aware, I guess, of like the primary person that I'm probably gonna need to peel for. Like the first round it was the cast.
That's a good ring skill, because you're gonna have the cast dive, right? You're gonna have the Widowmaker brawl, you know. So
yeah,
being aware of that is certainly helpful. Okay, do you have any questions?
No, I think everything's good.
All right, mate. Make sure